Welcome back to the Taiwan Outlook. I'm Raymond Wu. We're continuing our discussion with Mr. Lin Shu-Yu, Tom, and we're going to talk a little bit about this year, 2008, as a very exciting year for Taiwan filmmaking. In addition to the movie Winds of September, we also see a huge box office success in the movie Cape Number 7. I want to ask Tom, as a filmmaker yourself, what are the reasons or factors that you felt this movie was such a success at box office and also at the Film Awards that Cape Number 7 was able to capture the hearts and mind of so many moviegoers in Taiwan?
Well, yeah, I mean, because, well, first of all, this question is very, very hard to answer.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people is trying to figure that out.
Yes.
Everybody's trying to figure that out. A lot of critics, a lot of filmmakers, producers especially, because they want to be the next Cape Number 7.
Yes.
But I think, like I said, because everybody is overlooking the fact that this is actually, a good movie. And everybody is saying, oh, it's lucky because of this, it's lucky because of that. But, it's not luck at all, because he spent a very long time working on that film, and he actually did a very good job. And the fact that, because it's a feel-good movie. It's a feel-good movie, it's a politically correct feel-good movie.
Yes.
Where people are going to go into the theater, they're going to be satisfied, and they're going to come out laughing. And they, and then of course, there's, the emotional side, and then you might be a little heartbroken and stuff like that. But basically, you leave very happy. I mean, basically, it's working with, I think, a very traditional Hollywood model of telling a story.
Yes.
And it does a very good job. And so, I mean, you're not going to leave the theater like a lot of Taiwanese film. You leave the theater like, what was that?
Yeah. What just happened in the last 2 hours?
Yeah. Or like, what's the director trying to say?
Yeah.
You don't have that with Cape Number 7. And I think it's a kind of movie that a lot of us knew that the Taiwanese audience wants to watch, but we weren't able to make it.
Because?
One, selfishness.
Okay.
Two, just the fact that we don't know how.
And you're too modest.
No. Seriously, I think it's true, because over the past 10, 20 years, we've given up on the Hollywood way of storytelling, or the narrative way of storytelling, or what they call the 3-act structure. We've given that up for such a long time that right now I think a lot of filmmakers don't know how to go back to it. Don't know how to go back to just simply telling a story.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, it's actually harder to clearly tell a story than to make, let's say, a bad art film. It's easy to make a bad art film.
It happens.
Yeah, and then it's easy to hide behind the fact saying that, well, they don't understand my art.
Because it's an art film, yes.
Because it's an art film, yes. So there are no rules, so I can do anything I want. And so a lot of people, they get lazy. And a lot of people, they get lazy to the fact that, of course, like I said, we don't know how to go back to that traditional storytelling, which I think Cape Number 7 actually does very, very well. I mean, of course, there are structurally, plot holes and whatever stuff like that within the story. But basically, it's a very good, like I said, politically correct, feel-good movie.
Yeah, I want to ask you about your comment being a politically correct movie for the time. And also, do you think that has something to do with Taiwan's unique historical experiences?
Well, I would assume so.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the band of Cape Number 7. You have your haka, bass player. You have your old
Taiwanese,
man,
of course.
You have your young kid on the piano.
Yes.
You have Aborigines.
Yes.
And you have a Taiwanese lead singer. So, I mean, basically, you have everybody within that group. I mean, that is
represented.
Yes. Everybody is represented. That is very, that structurally and that's specifically set up to be like that, to be politically correct. And basically, you look at all these people, and they're seen as the underdogs.
Exactly.
And so everybody wants to see, of course, who are you going to root for when you're watching a match? You root for the underdog. I mean, you don't root for, the team that's going to win.
The front runner.
Yeah, you're going to, they're going to win whatever. So, you root for the underdog. And of course, the underdogs, gets the day at the end of that movie. And so, of course, I mean, when you watch a movie like that, you feel good.
And what do you think that movie, the success, particularly at the box office, what do you think that movie is going to do for Taiwan's film community? Will that serve as a a strong push, encouragement for more similar types of movie being made or more original ideas being able now, people take a chance, make a movie, and thinking that they could duplicate or even surpass the success of Cave Number 7?
Well, wow, that's a good question. I don't think I'm a bit more pessimistic. I don't think anybody's going to surpass that kind of box office.
Not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon for the the 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen, I think, and we all do, the Taiwanese film industry community, we all think that it's going to make 2009 a big production year. A lot more financiers are probably going to have the guts,
and motivated,
and the more motivation to actually gamble, to actually bet on Taiwanese cinema, because they see that, well, it does have potential.
Yes,
that
if
it
you
is
put the
possible.
right ingredients together.
Yeah, if you put the right ingredients together. But but again, with filmmaking, I mean, there is no right ingredient, because it's always tricky, and that's the fun part of it. But it's always tricky. But I think 2009, a lot more financiers are going to come, and it should be a bigger production year in 2009. And but I think to actually see Cape Number 7's full effect, we have to actually wait for a couple of years.
Because
perhaps for 2010 or 2011, then we'll actually see what our influences are. Did we actually influence anybody? Did we actually influence any other filmmakers, any other producers? Are people actually going in this direction? Because, I mean, it takes a year or two to make any movie anyway.
Yes, exactly.
So I think in about 2-3 years, we'll actually start to see the full effect.
Yeah. Following your line of thinking, if we adopt a more long-term perspective, thinking not just in 1 or 2 years, but maybe 3 to 5 years, do you think a film that's so successful as Cape Number 7 will actually help in terms of the the film community in Taiwan, with a more longer perspective, or is it going to just overshadow all the others, and maybe when the fever, the enthusiasm dies down, then people are going to say, oh, that just by the luck of the draw or whatever, and that it was so successful in 2008, but we'll never be able to duplicate that.
Yeah, well, I think you're right in both cases. Each coin has two sides.
Yes.
I mean, Cape Number 7. The positive stuff of Cape Number 7 is that people are actually going to be paying more attention to Taiwanese cinema, whatever's coming. But at the same time, it depends on what we produce. If we produce a lot of crap in the coming years,
the audience will go away.
Yeah, the audience will go away.
Yeah.
But it's going to actually have more draw, of course, because people are, and I think more draw at the same time, it gives, I think, Taiwanese filmmakers more confidence to pursue what they think is right. Because that's how Cape Number 7 came about. Because Cape Number 7 came about as a project that nobody believed in at the beginning.
Exactly. Then
nobody,
the director had to put up his own
nobody except for the director
house.
believed in the project, and it came true. His dream came true, and I think it would give a lot more incentive for future filmmakers to actually believe in themselves, thinking that yes, this is going to be a very good movie. You just don't see it.
Yeah.
So that's the positive part. But the overshadowing, of course, that happens too. I mean, just with the fact of Cape Number 7, there was a movie that came out 2 weeks right after Cape Number 7 called ORZ Boys.
Yes.
九南海.
Yeah.
That movie, if you look at the box office, that movie, I think in Taiwan, sold 3,000多万, 4,000万.
Yeah, 30-40 million.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
It's not bad. It's good.
Yes.
And you put it in any other year, it'd be number 1.
Yes. Of course,
yeah.
And also later we had another historic epic movie, 1895.
Yeah. So you look at these box office. I mean, these box office, they're number-wise, they're enormous. According to Taiwanese.
But they are somewhat overshadowed by the success of Cape Number 7.
Exactly. I mean, the 练习曲, what was that called in English? Island Etude or something? Yeah, 练习曲. I mean, that movie made like 1/3 or 1/4 of what ORZ Boys made. Meaning, so that means only 1/4 of the audience, 1/4 number of the audience of ORZ Boy watched 练习曲.
Yes.
But look at how much 练习曲 changed Taiwan. The fact, the whole effect of it, the whole bicycle effect, the whole love your island effect, you know, that changed Taiwan so much. That movie, even though it had a very very limited box office. I mean, it was good according to that year.
Yeah.
But then, the effect of the movie was enormous. I mean, it changed the island.
The attitude changed. Yes.
Yeah, the attitude changed.
Yeah.
Okay. And then right now, I mean, bicycling is so popular. Everybody wants to get a bike.
Yeah. Also with the rising oil prices 6 months ago.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then you look at ORZ Boys. I mean, it made so much money, but it's not affecting this island in any way or another. It's just a good movie. I mean, it is a good movie, but then. That's just it. That's only a good movie.
Yeah, but it still did very well this year.
It did very, very well. But then, of course, everybody's talking about Cape Number 7.
Yeah, that's this is the year that people are always going to be talking about Cape Number 7. But when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation with Tom. We're going to ask him about the marketing aspect of the movie Winds of September, and also what would be his recommendation for our government in terms of encouraging the film community to make more productions like The Winds of September and also Cape Number 7. We'll be back in 2 minutes.